Hello, good evening. We have gone into dark mode. This is your host, Dark Goobie, with my glasses and my PJs on. And I've got a new neighbor upstairs who has a little kid who's been running back and forth like they're training for the Olympics. Uh, yeah, well, such is life. But I did meet my neighbor, and he seems really cool. But yeah, that kid needs to go to bed. Well, it's the evening, and well, I mean, to be honest, I miss the format of making videos with the Help Your Body Heal series. Um, yeah, I don't miss the content, the not the subject matter, because I feel like I addressed what I wanted to in those videos. Uh, but there's other subjects that I find very interesting, and so I'm gonna try out something new. Today, we're gonna try um, a new series called Curious Words and Laser Toe Boxing. There's two parts. First, we're going to discuss a curious word or couple words that make a concept. And they're going to be just words that I find curious or concepts I find curious. And we'll just talk about it and just kind of share my thoughts on it, and maybe we'll surf the interwebs and find out some new things together. And some of these words might be maybe a little dark, hence we're doing it at nighttime. It's almost like scary story time. These are scary story time words. Not all of them, but some of them. Oh, yeah, maybe that's a good. That's a good. I'm trying to think of a good title. Like, I thought it was gonna be curious words and laser toe boxing, but maybe it's scary words with Goobie and laser toe boxing. Yeah, that might be good. But whatever the title ends up being, feels good to be in this format again. I'll share which word we're going to. Well, I mean, you already know which word we're going to discuss because of you've seen the title and the thumbnail. But before we talk about that word, I've just been kind of on a break from hiking and traveling. That cross country, well, not cross country, but like a really long road trip from Las Vegas to Monterey, California, up through Oregon, and then up here. It was a lot, and so I've just been kind of taking it easy at home, and plus there's like some personal stuff that happened with my family. Everyone's okay, but I just needed to like just take some time, and plus I was making those Help Your Body Heal videos, and I just felt like I wanted to just do them. Just wanted to do them, and then I could maybe explore something else. Because towards the end, I was like, oh, I kind of want to think about and talk about other stuff. So here we are. I wasn't even sure what I was going to talk about, but I do want to talk about these scary words and scary story times. I don't know if any of you are horror movie fans. I kind of like horror movies, especially zombie movies or like movies where people get possessed or something. It's very intriguing to me that like there's somebody that and then they can get possessed or zombified, and then behave completely differently, even like to hurt you, even if they were like your family member. Those movies are totally fascinating to me. Yeah, maybe we'll talk some about that at some point. But yeah, I've been taking a little break from hiking. I will go hiking with Doobie sometime soon. But yeah, just needed a little bit of a break. All right, so today on scary word Goobie time and laser toe boxing. Oh, you might wonder what laser toe boxing is. Well, you will find out. Our word today. This is scary word. The first scary word. What is that, Goobie? Keeling Curve. I hope I spelled it right. This is my best effort at good handwriting. I have pretty bad handwriting. My handwriting looks like someone. Well, this one looks pretty good, but if I don't try, it looks like someone scary wrote it. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, who left this note for me? But yeah, Keeling Curve. That's what we're going to talk about today. And why are we talking about this, Goobie? Well, because I find it curious. And that's why we're going to talk about it. Let's see, where did I put my eraser? Oh, here. All right, so we're gonna erase this Keeling Curve. And you may say, well, that wasn't a really scary word. Well, just you wait. It is scary story time with Goobie. Keeling. Keeling. Keeling is or was a scientist. I don't know if they're still alive. We'll look it up. And Keeling looked at the atmosphere and measured like different gases in the atmosphere. And so Keeling was particularly interested in one kind of gas. So the atmosphere, there's a lot of different gas molecules, mostly nitrogen, which we breathe in, but it doesn't go into our body. There's oxygen. I think that's the second most common molecule, is oxygen, and that's what we breathe in into our body, and we exhale CO2, and CO2 is in the air as well, and that's what plants breathe in, and they exhale oxygen. So curiously, mushrooms, which most people think are vegetables, they're actually not vegetables. They're actually closer to humans than they are to plants. They they breathe in oxygen like we do and exhale CO2. Yeah, mushrooms are closer to animals than they are plants. I found that really interesting. Oh, that reminds me of a very curious thing. Someone hooked up a robotic octopus arm to a mushroom, and the mushroom was controlling the robot arm and making this robot octopus thing move around the floor. The mushroom was doing that. That was very strange. Yeah, you can look it up. True story. All right, so I really went off on a tangent with the mushroom. And cyborg mushrooms. Cyborg mushrooms. That would be an interesting, scary story. Night of the cyborg mushrooms. Yeah, I can see a movie with that. I would probably watch that, especially if it had Nicolas Cage in it, because I'm a sucker for Nicolas Cage movies. That guy is so amazing at acting. He believes his role like the most, more than even the people watching. But it's just so amazing to watch him believe his role and act it so well. I mean, it's just incredible. So I would love to watch Nicolas Cage in Night of the Cyborg Mushrooms. Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, if that ever happens. So Keeling was interested in looking at the different gases in the atmosphere, and he measured the CO2 over time. And CO2 is what is exhaled by us, and CO2 is also released from burnt stuff. If you set something on fire, if you set something that's organic, that meaning it's got carbon in it, like wood, paper, bodies, animals, grass, trees. If you set poop on fire, it all got carbon in it. And the energy that is stored up in those carbon matter gets released in the fire, and that's what causes the heat. And the heat is from the energy being released from the carbon bonds with other things. I got a dry erase board. I like drawing on this dry erase board. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Show. I'm gonna draw here. All right, this is just some molecule. I don't even know what molecule this is. Wow, it's been a long time since I've done chemistry. But methane, ethane, propane? Not sure. Propane? Okay, now I'm curious. Propane. No. Oh yeah. Haha, I remembered. All right. This is propane. This is what's in those camping canisters or those big white gas canisters that you use to fire up the gas grill. You know, if you want to like cook some hamburgers or hot dogs or roast some veggies or make some veggie burgers or whatever. What this is carbon, 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 bunch of hydrogens all around, and that's one molecule. And when you set this on fire, oxygen, so we're going to draw that. Now, bet you didn't think you were going to get a chemistry lesson. From Goobie's scary words. Here's your propane coming out of your gas grill, and then you have oxygen. These are oxygen comes in, it's paired up, two oxygens together. That's what we breathe in, and that's what we use to in our body we have a fire going in the cells, and the oxygen is used to burn sugar, which has carbon and hydrogen and stuff in it, or ketones or fats. We burn them, just kind of like the propane, but they're just shaped in a different combination of carbon and hydrogen. But we use oxygen, which is what we breathe in, and then with fire, either in our cells or like in a gas grill, these guys combine, and then a bunch of energy is released. Bunch of energy is released because there's energy holding this hydrogen to this carbon. Same thing here. There's some energy in holding this oxygen together. And there's energy holding the carbon to the carbon. These lines are energy holding this thing together. And when you set it on fire, either in a grill or in a very microscopic level in our body, we release that energy. And that gives us heat. Allows our muscles to move. It allows us to cook our veggie burger or regular burger, whatever one you want. And then that propane and the oxygen, all of those guys become oh yeah. Oh. All right, bear with me. I am drawing this as quickly as I can. Okay. So, what used to be a propane molecule now became, the three carbons in there became CO2, just carbon and oxygen bound together. And it's double bonded. That means it's like super strong bond between the carbon in each oxygen. So double bonded. Super strong. In fact, it's so strong, it's very hard to convert this back to propane or any other molecule that life can use for its energy. The only way, well, not the only way, but the organisms that are able to do this, they have to use the sun's light, the energy streaming across the solar system. I don't know how long it takes for the light to reach us from the sun. We're going to look that up. How long does the sunlight take to reach Earth? Eight minutes. Wow. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So, what's needed to convert CO2 back into a different kind of carbon and hydrogen arrangement that stores energy, like food? What's needed is to get the sun's fusion energy traveling across the solar system 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here. And then plants use that sunlight to break this really strong double bonds and then make some kind of carbon hydrogen molecule that stores energy. And that's what we eat. We eat the plants, and then we get that energy that actually came from the sun. So the sun sent the energy, and the plants broke this really hard to break down molecule, CO2. There's two oxygens, so it's O2. And then the plants break it down, and then they make not propane, but some kind of carbon hydrogen molecule, and then we eat the plants. Or another animal eats those plants, and then we eat that animal. But all in all, it's all a chain of energy from the sun. The sun gives us everything. The sun gives us everything. It goes to the plants or algae, and then either we eat those algae or plants directly, or another animal does, and then we eat that animal. And that's how we get the fire of the sun inside of us. And then all those hydrogens that were connected to the carbon are released as water. Okay. All right, Goobie. Wow, that was hella boring. If I wanted to know chemistry, I would have taken that class in school. Why the heck are you talking about chemistry and saying that it's scary? Well, we're going to get to that. Actually, we probably just go online now. We're going to go on an interwebs adventure. Because for our scary story tonight, we are going to learn about what Professor Keeling found. So we're going to go to desktop mode. And we're going to make the font bigger so you can see. And we're going to learn, what is the Keeling Curve? Keeling Curve. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe we go to Wikipedia, because that is probably pretty safe with copyright stuff. So, Keeling Curve. So, Charles David Keeling. Let's see if that person is still alive. No. Died in 2005. Keeling was based at the Mauna Loa Observatory on the island of Hawaii. And from the 1950s to, well, they're still measuring it. They're measuring the monthly average CO2 concentration in the atmosphere. And what they found is that as you go through the year, CO2 concentration goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and down, up and down. And that's what this seasonal variation right here is showing. Let's see if I can get this into bigger. Oh yeah, there we go. So in January, it starts, about the baseline, and then as you go through the year, it goes up. In the summer months, it goes up to a high, and then as you go down to the fall time, it drops down, and it goes back to where it started for the next year. Although, it doesn't quite go back to where it started, because what they did was they measured this over many years, from the 1950s to the present. And the CO2 levels, they bounce up and down each year. They go up and down, up and down, up and down. But each year, it gets a little higher. And a little higher. And a little higher. And a little higher. This is the Keeling Curve. Professor Keeling, or Dr. Keeling, I don't know if he was a professor, Dr. Keeling, observed and showed that the concentration of CO2 in the air has consistently gone up every year. Every year it's gone up. So, you might wonder, so what, Goobie? Still not very scary. I thought you were gonna give me a good scary story tonight. Well, what this means is there are a couple gases in the atmosphere that trap heat. So you've got, we're gonna go back to my fun dry erase board, because I like drawing on this. Well, I gotta figure out a better way to do this where I can, yeah, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this will work. So you got the sun. Here's the sun. Here's the earth. That's my artist rendition of North America and South America. And then there is air around the earth. And the sunlight comes in. It's like a wave, it's energy. And it hits the earth, and then it bounces. Some of it gets reflected back out into outer space. Like particularly if it hits ice, like on our ice caps up here, it'll get reflected like a mirror. The energy will just go right back out. But sometimes the energy gets trapped in here as heat, and from CO2. So some molecules like CO2, that's the double bonded oxygens, and methane. Methane is carbon with 4 hydrogens around it. That one's very good at trapping heat. So if light gets in there and then these guys are present, either methane or CO2, it traps the heat inside here like this. It doesn't go back into outer space. And then the air around the Earth heats up. And so what the Keeling Curve shows is that the amount of CO2, that's this guy, keeps going up each year. I mean, it goes up and down throughout the year, but it keeps going up. And where that comes from is burning things. Because, we talked about how there's a lot of energy in these carbon bonds. And CO2 is released when you burn things. And so we've been burning a lot of things. Not only, forests have been burning, but more importantly, we found a whole bunch of combustible fuel in the form of coal, oil, and gas underground. And where did that come from? Well, those are dino juice and dino bodies and dinoplant bodies that have liquefied or solidified into coal. There's millions and millions and millions of years. So if you think about it, a long time ago, millions of years, there's dinosaurs. We're gonna draw that just because I want to draw, and I don't get to do that much with my hands anymore since I don't do surgery. I play some music now, but I think I'm gonna make this a thing. I'm gonna just keep drawing some. All right, so here's the ground, and then there's a tree. This is a dinosaur tree. It existed a long time ago. And then here is a dinosaur. This dinosaur has a big eye and is happy because the tree's there and the sun's energy is converted into tree matter, taking CO2 out of the air and creating the tree. And the dinosaur is happy because the tree is there, that the dinosaur animal can live, because there's energy from the sun in the plant, and the dinosaur can eat that. Now this is millions of years ago. Millions years ago. Millions of years ago. And what happened was there's tons of trees and tons of dinosaurs, and then they eventually die. So this one eventually dies. That's an X in the eyes. And then this tree eventually dies too. X. And then they sink down underground. And now you get like coal. So this is my artist rendition of coal. It's just black rocks. And oil. This is also my artist rendition of oil. It's just black liquid. And then gas bubbles. So millions of years ago, these dinosaur plants and dinosaurs, they died, and their bodies, both the plant and animal bodies, sunk underground and became coal, oil, and natural gas. And while their bodies are unrecognizable in this form, they still hold the energy from the sun. the sun, the sun's energy from millions of years ago striking the earth was converted by the plants into a solid form. So light is converted into energy in a solid form. And when they died, they all formed this stuff. So what we did as humans Alright, so what we did as humans was, so here's us now. So we're going to say now. Here's me. Got a smile on my face. Got my hair. That's me. That's Goobie. Now. And there's a bunch of this dinosaur body and dinoplant bodies underground, and the other people that live with me, they were able to dig up this stuff. So instead of it going down into the ground, it's coming up because we dug it up or we pumped it up. So it's coming up. And with that, all of a sudden, we have a ton of energy because we have millions of years of sunlight underground. The energy from millions of years of sunlight hitting the earth underground. And we figured that out because we are Homo sapiens. We are Man, sapiens, wise. We are wise man. It's Homo sapiens. That's us. We figured out that we can dig up this millions of years of energy stored underground, and we can use it to do all sorts of things. We can use that to power a car. Here's my car. And now I have a big van, which I still feel kind of conflicted about because of this problem. So now I've got a camper van. So I've got a small car and now a big car, and I use the dino juice to power them around. So again, I feel a little conflicted about this, but I mean, it already existed. I bought it for $1 used, but still, yeah, it's a little bit of a problem. I'm in my house right now, and I got the computer and the lights on. I have electricity, so I got lights. Almost like the sun is here, but it's not. It's gone, but I can still see because I have energy from the sun from millions of years ago now going through these light bulbs and making light at nighttime. I got food. I got food in the fridge, which the fridge runs off electricity to keep the food cool. But a lot of the food that we have, so I'm going to draw like kale. Here's my idea of kale. A lot of the foods that we eat are grown using fertilizer made from fossil fuels. Fossil fuels help us make the fertilizer through the Haber-Bosch process, which is a very smart scientist figured out how to use fossil fuels to make fertilizer so that you can help other plants grow. And then we've used that as fertilizer to grow food. So we need fossil fuels to grow food the way we do right now. And then that food is grown somewhere else. So then some car or truck, well, first they got to harvest it using usually a machine that uses fossil fuel, and then it's transported to a distribution center using a truck, and then it's then shipped to different grocery stores and using fossil fuels, and then I use a fossil fuel car to go to the grocery store and pick it up, and usually it's packaged in plastic. So plastic is made from fossil fuels, and then I eat it. And now, I've got this computer. I got a computer, so I can watch anime or movies or play video games. I don't play video games very much anymore, but I'm watching this really cool anime called Monster, because people were saying on one of my videos that I was like Dr. Kenzo Tenma in this anime, and it's about a neurosurgeon who quits and then quits practicing neurosurgery and then hunts down a monster that's in a person's body. It's really, really cool story. So I've been watching that, and I like that. And these fossil fuels are used to power the computer screen and the internet and the data centers that house the video you're watching and the Netflix videos that I was watching. And I can order stuff from Amazon that uses fossil fuels to deliver it through a truck to me, so that I can have things like this laser pointer, which we're gonna use to do laser toe boxing. So in order to do all these things and for me to have a smile on my face like I do, like this, we need to burn all these fossil fuels. And when you burn it, you make a bunch of CO2. So where are these burnt? Well, usually in some big factory somewhere. In power plant. So that's how we end up with CO2 going up. Because we're burning a lot of stuff so that we can have a lot of stuff. And I backpack, and so I go out into the wilderness sometimes, and I often wonder how the heck people survived before we had all this stuff, because it's pretty hard out there. Not having electricity. Even when I'm out there, I still have battery power. I've got a headlamp. I can see in the dark. But if I did not have a headlamp, well, that'd be kind of hard. So we live pretty comfortably with all our lights, electricity, internet, Netflix, Amazon deliveries, and grocery stores just down the block. Not gonna lie, we got it pretty good. But what's happening is, because we're burning all this dino juice that contains sunlight from millions of years ago, we are taking the carbon that's underground, buried underground, we're bringing it up and we're burning it to do all these things, and now the carbon that was down here is floating around in the sky as CO2. And that's what the Keeling Curve shows. Keeling Curve shows that over these years, CO2 has gone up every year. And why is that important? Well, because CO2 is trapping heat and is making the Earth hotter. And so this is where the Keeling Curve. So Keeling Curve is directly measuring CO2, but there are scientists that have looked at CO2 concentrations and in the very far past, and looked at Earth temperatures during those times. So let's see if we can find that. CO2 and Earth temperature history. Let's see, images. Oh, yeah. I want to find something from well, PBS Learning Media. Yeah, let's go there. Okay. Okay. So here we've got okay, here we go. So blue and red. Red is temperature, blue is how much CO2 is in the air. So if you look at this graph, there's 300,000 years ago to the present. And when blue, which is CO2, when it goes up, the temperature follows it. It goes up too. It lags a little bit behind, but it does go up. Pretty much wherever the CO2 goes, the temperature goes. And they were able to look at, I believe it was ice cores. In Antarctica, the ice just accumulates over years and years and years and years and years. And the deeper you go into the ice, the older the ice is. And so they're able to measure CO2 that was captured in these little bubbles in the ice. And I'm not sure how they figured out the temperature, but they were able to figure out the temperature around that time. That's curious. I wonder how they do that. But this is what they found, is that CO2 follows the temperature. And the reason why this is so you might say, oh, okay, Goobie, so CO2 follows temperature. The Keeling curve shows that CO2 is consistently going up, and we are burning a lot of dino juice that was under the ground and making the CO2 go up. But on this graph, Goobie, this CO2 is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and there weren't humans burning fossil fuels then. No, there wasn't. In fact, I think people think we're about 300,000 years old. Modern humans. And so, like before that even, we weren't running around in Flintstones, caveman cars, running on fossil fuels. But there were these big spikes, and that's because the Earth has had a long history, and there are times when CO2 went up quite a bit because of volcanoes, massive volcanic activity, shooting up CO2 in the air. And so we're going to look up what happened during those times. CO2 and mass extinctions. This is where the scary part comes. So this is the scary story of the evening. Yes. This is the graph that made me a little bit concerned. Okay, I would say very concerned. This was the scary story of the evening. Trying to get this to show correctly. So in Earth's history, there has been 5, I believe, mass extinctions where majority of life on the planet died, including animals, ocean animals, land animals, ocean animals, and plants. And they were in conjunction with rising CO2. The reason for the rise in CO2 varied, but sometimes it was from massive volcanoes. I don't know the other reasons why, but they were related to CO2 going up. And what this graph shows is that, like the middle line here, 76% of all marine and land animals died in this end Triassic extinction event. Temperatures rose 4 degrees Celsius over 10,000 years. So it took 10,000 years for the temperatures to rise, also the CO2 to rise, because the CO2 and temperatures rise together. So it took 10,000 years for the CO2 and the temperatures to rise up to 4 degrees Celsius, and 76% of all marine and land animals died. Now, luckily, not all of them died. 24% survived. And that's how we're alive today, because some of them survived. And how everything else is alive. Alligators, birds, deer, insects, 24% survived. Life found a way to survive. So that's a good thing. And then if you look at the other ones, the end Permian extinction event, temperatures rose 8 Celsius, but over 60,000 years. So if you look here, this end Permian event, temperatures rose 8 degrees, so like twice, it got twice as hot. The increase was twice as much, and over a longer time period. But 96% of all marine species died. That means that nearly all the ocean died of life, and 70% of land vertebrates died. 30% survived. That was with this rise in temperature. That the slope of the line is how quickly the temperatures rose. And then in this other one, this temperature rose 5 degrees Celsius over 5,000 years, and there was mass extinctions of some marine and plant life. So yeah, this one was a little bit different. Well, this red line is what we're doing currently, and then this dashed line is what's projected if we keep going on our current rate of burning fossil fuels like we are. So based off of the Keeling Curve and based off the Keeling Curve essentially the Keeling Curve, they are mapping this to a line, and we are increasing the CO2 and temperatures faster than any of these other extinction events, faster than them. And then we are setting we're on track to set a record, so we deserve a gold medal for trying so hard. We're trying so hard to set the record and beat all the other mass extinction events. because we're number one. We're Homo sapiens sapiens. So, yeah, that's my scary story for the evening. This is where we are right now. Now, on that note, we're going to do some laser toe boxing. So, you have to give me a second here because I haven't done this before on camera. No, I did do it on camera before, but not with this camera. So we're going to come over here and we're gonna set the camera lower. Doobie. 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 Oh. Here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Oh, are you okay?